about a month ago or so, I think just over a month ago, I covered a court case that is currently awaiting trial. They will get their trial next year. The court case started already in 2018 when the municipality of Ekurhuleni decided to expropriate a piece of land in Boksburg, in Joburg. Well, yeah, technically part of the greater Joburg area and part of the municipality of Ekurhuleni for zero compensation. Now, for a long time, the company that owns the land tried very quietly to deal with this with the municipality, trying to figure out, look, even if you aren't willing to pay us market value, are you at least willing to pay us something so we don't just make clear losses on the land? The municipality of Ekurhuleni have consistently said, no thanks, we just want the land. And so this year, finally, they decided to go to court because there is no other option. There's something very sinister about this case. Before we get into what that is, listen to shockwaves explain why this court case is so incredibly important.
I think we need to unpack this for people to really give clarity on what's a crucial issue of expropriation.
Well, what's at stake, Russell, is whether expropriation in South Africa will happen at market value or not. In the case of Ekurhuleni, the City Council took a political decision and said that they want to test the constitutional application of the property rights clause in the Constitution, and they want to put it to the court that there should be a compensation, zero compensation for that expropriation. Companies try to stay out of the news, and so it's for several years it was attempted to settle this amicably and in other ways, but now it's finally going to mediation and set down for an 18-day trial next year. Why it's important is if the nil compensation decision is not reversed, we're looking at the restatement of assets on balance sheets across the country for development companies, for privately held land, all land that could conceivably also be expropriated in the public interest or for social housing would have to be reassessed.
It's actually far worse than what he just stated. But of course, they're not trying to speculate here. They're just giving you the facts as it stands right now. In order to understand just how bad this is, and I'll get to what he means with the rebalancing of statements, although most of you will probably already understand. When you talk about property, the legal definition of property is anything that can be bought, sold, and owned. That's it. That's the extent of it. That means your car, your clothing, your house, your land, even you. That's right. Not very long ago, people owned people and people were property. Now, we all have in our constitutions, at least most modern nations have in their constitution, that people cannot be bought and sold or owned by other people. But technically speaking, under the true definition of property, even a human being can be considered property. Now, I'm not suggesting for a second that the ANC is going to get into the people buying or expropriation business. The reason that's important, though, is corporations are considered people. That's right. A corporation is considered a person legally. That gives them certain rights, certain special considerations within the law that they would not have if they were merely considered businesses or property. But this does technically mean that should the municipality of Ekurhuleni succeed in claiming or at least expropriating that land, and should the court find in their favor, that could be disastrous. Now, it should be mentioned here, the municipality of Ekurhuleni is trying this case under the current constitution of South Africa, particularly Section 25 of the current constitution of South Africa. They argue that the protections within the constitution of South Africa does not, in fact, or aren't infringed upon with the expropriation for zero compensation of this land, because they argue that this land is being expropriated for the broader public good. It would have been far worse was this, in fact, expropriated under the new Act, Act 13 of 2024, or the update to Section 25, because technically speaking, the new Act will actually sort of erode a lot of the protections that exists in the Constitution right now. And shockwaves even admits, should this have happened under the new Act, it would have been almost impossible to get the courts to actually stop it. But this is a landmark case. And if this falls in front of the wrong judge, or if you have a judge who interprets the Constitution in a very wonky way, you could effectively see, as they said, a rebalancing of all assets under command in the economy. Why is that? Well, think of it this way. If property is indeed something that can be bought, sold, and owned, that means your house. Now, if I come to you and I want to buy your house, you tell me it's 1 million. I go, yeah, that's a bargain. I'll buy it from you for 1 million. Why am I buying that house for 1 million? Well, because I think it's worth that. And I think that I can get at least that if I wanted to resell it. What happens when I don't know if I'll be able to resell it? What happens if I know that I could get at least zero should the government decide that that house is now their house? Because under the new act, if this passes, it effectively means the Constitution is dead and there's no way to stop the new act from actually getting into effect. If that were to happen, under the new act, the government could step in and simply say, well, we're taking entire neighborhoods and expropriating it. And the reason they could be doing that, or would be allowed to do that, is under the new act. When you actually read the words, and I won't go through it. I did read through it. It's very difficult because it's all in legalese, which is super confusing, and it's spread out over almost 50 pages. So it's a massive act. But effectively, all you need to know in layman's terms is that the act merely requires that the government show that what they're trying to expropriate serves the public good. So if they can show that, hey, one person owned this land, but we're going to give this land to 10 people, the 10 people are of greater good being served by the land than the one person that is currently living on it or owning it, and therefore it is in favor of broader public good. The government could take factories, the government could take warehouses, pretty much whatever the government wants to take, they would be allowed to take. Effectively, it's nationalization by a completely different name. And I believe that the ANC is using their local stooges in the municipality of Ekurhuleni to test the waters, to see if this actually holds up. Because if it passes, then the ANC has the ability to really ramp this up. Why is that important? Well, because if the ANC does it, it's international news. Immediately, if that were to pass, if the court were to side with the municipality of Ekurhuleni, the next day, property prices in South Africa will start to plummet. Foreign investment in South Africa will cease to exist. No company is going to invest in a country if they think that their investment could suddenly go to zero. That's just not going to happen. No one's going to be stupid enough to make that bet. And so what will ultimately end up happening is we will have an economic meltdown. And it will happen fast. That's the issue. And that's the thing that's staring us in the face, should this pass. As always, I'll keep you up to date. I'll let you know exactly when and how things change. Hit the like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and let me know in the comment section down below. Did I miss something? Did I misinterpret something? Do you think that there's something extra that I have not taken into account? I always love to read your thoughts in the comment section down below. Massive shout out and thank you to all of the patrons as well as the YouTube channel members for continuing to support this channel and for helping me basically grow and hopefully bring even better content to you in the future. As always, be good to each other, be kind to each other, question everything, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.